Good morning and welcome to Fitness Friday. Today we've got a guest who's no stranger to endurance and challenges. He recently cycled 100 miles. Yes, you heard that right. And he's also a musician, community booster and local counsellor. He wears many hats but always finds time for fitness. Please welcome Don McArthur. Don, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome, Terence. Thank you very much for having me on.
So maybe we can just start with a general question. How do you balance fitness with all of these other commitments that you might have?
Well, where there's a will, there's a way, I guess. It helps that I enjoy it. I enjoy running. I enjoy going to Mavati in Amherstburg there. And lately, I've really enjoyed cycling. So I just try to get all my responsibilities out of the way and clear the decks and make sure I have the time to do it. And, the added benefit is if you get a good workout in, you're feeling good about yourself, mentally and physically, you can bring more energy, more passion, to all of your other responsibilities and jobs. So it's kind of a full circle, kind of healthy living cycle that I try to. I try to work hard and I also try to play hard. And when it comes to things like, running 100 miles or cycling 100 miles, it takes a lot of time. Right? I mean, that's really the big thing. It takes a lot of time to do it. It takes a lot of time to prepare for it. So you just have to be ruthless about giving yourself the time and stick to the discipline, and that'll get you through the days when maybe you don't feel like doing it.
Yeah, I totally get that, Don. What inspired you to take on this latest jaunt, I guess, of 100-mile bicycle ride?
Yeah, I mean, I just had started more and more riding my bicycle and going out for a bit of a longer time. My partner, Nancy, actually, she bought me this really cool earphones that don't quite go in your ear, so you can still hear external noises like traffic and honking horns while you're listening to podcasts or music. So that took away some of the boredom, and I started going longer and longer. And then I saw a challenge on Facebook. There's a wonderful organization called Share the Road, Essex County. It's run by Tom Olmsted and his wife. And they share all the great cycling news about Windsor and Essex County, all the paved shoulder projects, all the great routes. And they had a challenge that was open until September 14th called the Essex Centurion Challenge. And it was a 100-mile route around most of Essex County and Windsor. And you sign up for it, and you sort of do it on your own time and submit your, Strava or your GPS to show that you've done it. And he puts a spreadsheet on the website. You're a centurion. So I really like people that take the time to organize challenges like this, because it gives folks like me and just ordinary Joes like me, something to shoot for and something for which to train. So all props to the Olmsteds for everything they do for cycling in Windsor and Essex County.
Yeah, it's always great to have a goal, isn't it, Don?
Absolutely. Even when I'm playing music, you have sort of a gig, you have a red circle on the calendar. It's something that you can, focus on, something that keeps you from being distracted, and you get a real sense of accomplishment when you set your mind to a goal, big or small, and, you put the pieces in place to get to that goal. And the thing about big challenges like 100-mile runs or 100-mile, bikes or running for office or doing anything, it's not about the day itself. It's not about whether you win or lose or whether you make it. It's about all the work you put into it, leading up to it. It's like an iceberg, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you only see the tip of it. And the tip of the iceberg is event day. But, beneath it is all the time you put in to training, into knocking doors, into practicing. And there's value in that. There's value in the discipline. Like, no matter the outcome, if you kind of focus on the process and control the process and give everything you have, you're going to be a better person for it. You can't control the outcome. All you can control is your actions. So it's really instructive, and it's great for physical and mental wellness to approach things like that. Same as golf, right? I mean, you don't know where the ball is going to bounce. All you can do is control your swing and your reaction to what happens. Everything else is beyond your control.
Yeah, you control what you can. On the actual day, Don, how did it go? What was the toughest part of the ride, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, probably, to be honest with you, the hardest part of the ride was sort of in Windsor, and that's because that was unfamiliar territory for me. So usually this ride, like, it starts and ends in Malden Park in Windsor, and, you go clockwise. So I went down the Windsor waterfront and in through East Riverside. Then you pretty much hug the water into Tecumseh, into Lakeshore. You dodge up a bit until you get to Highway 77, and there's a beautiful gravel trail that goes all the way to Leamington. You take that all the way down. You go down County Road 50, Colchester, and then up through Harrow onto the Greenway, through McGregor, and that takes you home. And the hardest part was in Windsor, kind of in East Riverside, because I was unfamiliar with that area. My navigation skills aren't the best, so I had to frequently stop, and like pinch zoom on my map on my iPhone, to figure out exactly where I was and get going. So that took a bit of time. My goal was to do it in 8 hours, and I ended up doing it in 7 hours and 44 minutes. But I had to kind of step on it, through McGregor and down the Herb Gray Parkway to finish.
That's great. I was just thinking, my wife is always telling me how directionally challenged I am in the places I don't know. What's next on your fitness journey, Don? Have you got anything on the horizon that's a new challenge?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm kind of in the very beginning stages. I kind of want to do more cycling in different places. So I'm just sort of trying to figure out, could I go on a multi-day trip with saddlebags kind of thing, going on some kind of an adventure. I'm just, turning my head to that now to see if it's possible. I'm actually, and to be honest with you, and Nancy's pushing me out the door to do this, is it possible to, we live in Canada South, right? You can golf all year round here. Is it possible to cycle all year round here? So I'm not sure. I'm going to check with the guys at Flow Cafe, in downtown Amherstburg, what they recommend about winter cycling. And, I might embrace that a bit.
And what advice would you give to anybody that's listening that's looking to push their own limits, I guess in fitness, but, you could widen that out. What would you say, Don?
Well, I think in life in general, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? So I think you should, if you're into biking, hang out with people who are good at biking. If you want to get into running, hang out with people who are good at running. Same with golfing. Try to learn from them. It's okay to not be good at something when you start. And in fact, you shouldn't be good at something when you start, right? So no matter how old you are, no matter your age, it's okay to suck at something in the beginning. Give yourself the freedom to be bad at something if you enjoy it, and just put in the time, and you're going to get better no matter what it is. And there's great mentors out there, like mountain biking, for example. The Windsor Essex Bike Community, they built 8 kilometers of mountain bike trails at the Libro Center, and like a snowball rolling down a hill. More and more kids are showing up there. And I don't know how to mountain bike. I'm 54, and I've wiped out a few times, but I went out on a few group rides with them, and they leave me in the dust. But James and the expert mountain bikers, they give me tips, and, they help me along, and they're very encouraging. So no matter what you want to sort of do in life, find the people that are good at it, learn from them, and don't be afraid to seek their advice, because you'll find that most people are very gracious, to share their wisdom with you. We have a wonderful community when it comes to cycling and running in Windsor and Essex County, and we all help each other along.
Yeah, absolutely, Don. That's some very wise advice. Donald, thanks for coming and sharing your story with us today, and best of luck with your next challenge.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Terence, and thanks for all you do to promote the town of Amherstburg. It's fantastic. We've got a radio station.
You've been listening to Fitness Friday here on 107.9 FM The Berg. Join us again next week for more stories of health, fitness and inspiration.